Hello everyone, Giltar here with part 2 of my review of the 1 to 100 scale Master Grade F91 Gundam in Harrison Martin colors. Now I did forget a couple of pieces of, information with respect to articulation. The first thing I need to point out is just the fact that the Hyper Bazooka, or rather beam launcher accessory, can be stored on the back skirt. And on the back skirt here, there is a clip, but it's capable of articulation. What you do is you just fold it down for storage and then flip this up, and then do it in reverse. You open this up and flip that open to put in the beam launcher, which is a really nice look because you don't have an obtrusive component here. When it's in storage mode, the beam launcher is in the way so you can't notice it, and then when it's in sort of its standard non-storage mode, then it just looks like a component of the back skirt, which is a really nice touch. I like that design point. Another part of articulation which I missed was just the ankle armor, and some people may not care, but it's a really nice level of articulation, a nice level of movement, range of movement rather, for it. Another piece of articulation would be the shoulder. It can actually move out significantly, not quite 90 degrees, maybe more like 45, but it's still a nice range of forward movement for the shoulders. And finally, there's another one after this, but the head can, or rather the helmet can be removed, and then you can, this right now I have it sort of like in its face mode. It's not the typical Gundam face mask, but it's right behind it. If I just flip it up and over and put it down, then I have the typical Gundam face mask. Now it doesn't help that it's all in dark colors and my camera can't focus that well on it, but that's a nice bit of articulation there, a nice touch. And then you just replace the helmet, put it back on. And then finally this time, another piece of articulation is that the shoulders store a trio of fins that can be pulled out and extended and then sort of separated and flipped, sort of swiveled apart to create this sort of, I guess it might be a burst mode sort of look. I haven't seen F91, so I don't know that for sure. And so that's it for articulation. So now I guess I'll move on to sort of my list of pros and cons. I would say first and foremost, the main con would be the fact that there are issues with looseness of armor parts. The upper thigh armor especially just separates and a gap shows when you're just moving around the leg. The knee armor is also bad for it. However, the calf and lower shin armor are fine. They're nice and secure. However, the arm armor, the forearm armor, I don't know if you can make it out, but it shows like a gap here. It frequently does that. You have to correct it and adjust it and put it back on. The upper arm armor isn't too bad in my experience though. Now, combined with the looseness of the armor, we're dealing with a model kit that deals, or rather incorporates, no polycap joints. It's all plastic on plastic. So these joints, for at least my model, are very tight. So when you have the tightness of a joint combined with loose armor parts, when you're just trying to bend it around, it tends to create that gap where you just have to keep constantly, adjusting it and correcting it. So that is an issue, because especially if you want to pose your model from time to time, the armor sort of shifting out of place and perhaps popping off when you don't want it to can be annoying. The same goes for the helmet. The helmet is a bit loose due to that, but I don't mind it. It's not terribly loose, at least in my model, so it's not a big deal. Another issue that people might find is that these fins here are quite delicate. I only have 2 fins in this in the left shoulder armor because one of them actually broke. They come on a runner that looks like this, and they're all in a, sort of arranged in a circle. And this fin, this part here, snapped off when I was separating it from the runner. And I was careful with it because I knew these were fragile parts. But even so, just there was tension. And once I separated, this part snapped and broke, and that other piece of plastic flew off somewhere. I haven't been able to find it yet. So that's something to look out for when you're separating the fins. Be really careful about it. Another issue that people might have is the extra work one has to put in to get it to look like the character, or rather the mecha mobile suit design pictures show in the promotional photos in the instruction booklet. There's a lot of extra work to be done. Some people may not like that. I personally don't mind it. I got into model kits because I enjoy the aspect of doing extra work to really make a model work for me. Not that it's unnecessary work, but part of model kits for me is the effort of assembling, painting, or using stickers or whatever to make a model get up to the level that I like. Another problem with this model kit that people might encounter is the scale, or rather lack of size it has. It's a 15.2 meter tall mobile suit, so it is shorter than pretty much every other Gundam design out there, except for a few. So some people, a lot of people, are really into the whole size thing. To them, a bigger model is better. So this sort of the slight size of this model kit may put off some people. Personally, again, I really don't mind that. I think that this size is fine with me. I would actually say that a 1 to 100 scale average Gundam model is as big as I'd like to go. Something like in the 160 perfect grade range, which is fine for a lot of people, and I don't mind it. I find it's kind of big and cumbersome to have. It's more of a display piece more than anything. I like to handle my models from time to time and just position them in different ways so that I can just sort of mix up my display and keep things interesting. If a model is way too big and cumbersome for me to properly adjust without too much problems, then to me it's more of like a statue at that point that has articulation, which is again fine, but anyways, the small size can be an issue for some people. So aside from that, those are the criticisms I would have for this model kit. Now to move on to the things I do like, I'll start off with the accessories. These are really nice, really highly detailed. It doesn't have a lot, but these are really just interesting deviations from standard designs, which keeps the essence of the original sort of beam rifle hyper bazooka looks, but then it gives them a nice update, really nice details, and they have a lot of potential for improvement. So these look fine as they are, but they're just ripe for increasing their looks through customization, through painting and such. The second thing I really like is simply the level of articulation. It can do anything that any other master grade Gundam model can do. A few bits are missing, like the flexing of the feet. It doesn't have articulated feet, but it's not a big deal. Otherwise, it has a great range of articulation, and yeah, it's very posable. So that's what I like about this. Another thing I like about it, the style, the details and design of the F91. Especially the Harrison Martin colors. The standard F91 color scheme I'm not a big fan of. I do like those colors, but just on the F91 it looks mediocre at best in my eyes. With the Harrison Martin colors, which are more Titans-esque, I just think it looks like a really sharp model. Even without all the extra stickers and such, as a naked raw build, it looks good already. So I can anticipate once I start painting it, it'll look very good in my eyes. So I like the style and design of it, especially bits and pieces like the front air intake, the back sort of exhaust ports or whatever they are, really gives this model a sort of a sports car feel and look to it. And that might have been part of the design sort of intent behind the F91 Gundam. So the style, I think, it's a really sleek looking thing. And I really like the VSBR accessories as well. Just that part of the design. These are just really big, intimidating weapons, and then when they're in sort of stored compact mode, they almost give off a jetpack or winged look to the design, which is a nice visual in my eyes. And even though the head, or helmet rather, has looseness issues, I don't mind it. They're not too bad, and I like the opportunity or option to have two different facial designs for this model kit. It's a really nice touch, so I like that as well. So overall, I do give this model kit a recommendation, but with the sort of side note that, watch out for the fact that you do have to put extra work to make it accurate. You do have to watch out for looseness of parts, and the size of the model kit can be a put-off for some people out there who prefer larger scale models. So aside from those, everything else about it is great. It's very posable, great colors, great sense of design and style. And it is chock full of features that are a little perhaps overlooked, but they're just nice to have there, like the side skirt storage of the beam sabers and the back skirt storage or the clip for the beam launcher. So again, overall, I definitely recommend this, but keep those points of criticism in mind so that it might help you better decide whether or not to buy it. So thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it and got something out of it, and I'll see you guys next time with another review.